Yes, good morning students. In this video, let us see about the practicals that we are studying under forensic science. Yes, first practical is revealing latent fingerprints using iodine fuming. These impressions of our fingerprints are often left on items which we touch because the oil present in our body act like an invisible ink adhering to smooth surfaces we touch, thus transferring these fingerprint impressions to those surfaces. These virtually invisible image transfers are known as latent fingerprints. Okay. Now it is possible for a fingerprint impression to be exposed on surfaces such as plastic, dry paper or paint through a process of chemical fuming that reacts with the oils of the fingerprint, changing their color, thereby exposing the image. Okay, so we are going to see about how to use this iodine fuming to reveal the fingerprints of an unknown person. Okay, where if he touches an object, we can find out the person who has touch the object, thus by this one. Okay, let us move to the practical. See, what are the equipments we need? The equipments are goggles, because as in the chemistry laboratory you must always use a goggles, and so goggles is an essential, a magnifier in order to view the images. Okay, and then iodine crystals, that is the main chemical component, and then gloves, iodine fuming chamber, and then starch water, specimens, paper with latent fingerprints, that is the fingerprints, the papers that have the fingerprints. Okay, and so we are going to find out how we are doing the practicals. See what happens. First, see, before going to the practicals, we must note down the warning sign. What are the precautionary measures? Okay, see, iodine crystals are always toxic and corrosive and stain skin and clothing. It stains skin and clothing. Okay, so don't touch with your bare hands. Always you have to use a gloves. Okay, stains can be removed. Suppose if there are stains, if stains can be removed with the solution made by dissolving vitamin C tablet in water. Iodine vapors are toxic, so don't inhale that. Okay, though iodine vapors are toxic and irritating, perform this experiment only outdoors or in a well ventilated area. Always wear splash goggles, gloves and protective clothing. So these are the precautionary measures taken for before doing our practicals. Okay, next one. Now, how to do the practicals? See, if you have not already done this practicals in the laboratory, you are not familiar with any practicals, always wear a splash goggles, okay, and protective clothing. That is very important. Okay, now you have to do what is that is open a ziploc bag and transfer one or two tiny iodine crystals to it. An amount the size of a pinhead is sufficient. Okay, see, this much is enough. We can see this one. See that in the box there are iodine crystals. Okay, that much enough of iodine is enough. Place your first specimen inside the bag, expand the bag and so that it contains some air space, and then zip the bag closed. So what you have to do is you have to keep the sheet or the sheet or the paper that contains the fingerprints inside this one, and you have to close it. See the next one. See the crystals. Now what happens is, see this one. What happens is the crystals begin sublimating immediately. You have to close the bag and you have to shake it, and what happens, the crystals begin sublimating immediately, filling the bag with iodine vapor. Depending upon the size of the bag and specimen, the amount of the iodine you use and how you vaporize it. Okay, these things, if latent prints should start becoming visible within anywhere from a few seconds to a few minutes as faint orange smudges on the specimen. You can, depending upon the size of the, that is the bag, that is the specimen what we are having, we have to do the shaking. Okay, iodine vapors must be, iodine vapors, or that is the iodine crystals depends on the substance amount of the size of the paper that we are taking. Okay, and then allow the fuming to continue until the rich detail is evident in the developing prints. Okay, you have to see, must allow it we must not open it, allow it to develop. That the fingerprints must be, we have to see with our eyes, we have to allow the fingerprints to develop there. Okay, and the amount of iodine vapor, depending on the specimen and the amount of iodine vapor and other factors, this may require anything from just a minute or to several hours, even several hours or more. So depending upon the material present there. Okay, so it may take several hours or within few minutes. Okay, if there is a single print, okay, then there will be only just a minute is enough. Now, when the development appears to be complete, quickly remove the first specimen, insert the second specimen. Now, if you want to do another one, you can insert it immediately. Okay, so it is very important not to inhale iodine vapor, which is irritating. Okay, and it has a strong chlorine-like vapor. You can use iodine vapor already present in the chamber to develop. So, also to develop new, if there is iodine present there, you can use many more specimens. Okay, and then now coming to the next one, see how it has developed. See this one, see, you can see the picture, how it has developed, and see the fingerprints, it is all visible fingerprints. So now we can check the prints there. Now if we have the details of the persons with the fingerprints, then we can compare it using a magnifier. We can, and if you have a camera, you can record it immediately, you can take a photo of it immediately and scan, and you can send in the, if you have the fingerprints in the computer, in the system, you can, then you can compare compare with the persons. Okay, if you're thinking who is to me a crime. Okay, so this is the way to do the practical, that is how to reveal the latent fingerprints, that is the fingerprints that are not visible for our eyes, to using iodine fuming. Okay, students, thank you for now see, now place the specimen on a clean surface, see flat surface, and examine it carefully under strong light with a magnifier, the same points. Depending on the specimen, you may see only faint orange, this orange smudges, that is the, these are these orange smudges. See, these are that is the footprints, not fingerprints. Okay, see footprints, these are all footprints, not fingerprints. You can see the footprints. Okay, smudges while little row, we can see this figure. Okay, this is the way to do the fingerprinting test. The specimen can be, even though it is of very small size, they can magnify it, and you must see the capture the images. Okay, capture the images using, if you have a camera or a scanner, you can capture the image of the even the fumed fingerprints for our records. Okay. Now use the image manipulation software to enhance the image to reveal as much as detail as possible. Now, after you have a good image of the original fumed specimen, use a starch solution to develop the iodine stains, and you can spray the specimen with the starch solution or gently swab the solution onto the fumed prints using a cotton ball, cotton swab, or corner of the paper towel. Okay, you don't need to drench the specimen. Just you have to not to drench it, not to make it completely wet. Okay, even if it is damp, simply it is damped. Okay, make it somewhat, that is not completely wet, but it is damped. Okay, it's sufficient. The iodine reacts with the starch solution usually, and the color of the fumed prints to be black. Okay, fumed prints treated with starch solution often show contrast enhancement that reveals additional detail. Thank you.